Hi students, Assalamu alaikum. Hope you'll be fine with the grace of God. As we are doing the poem that is An Evening Wet with Rain, and as far as this poem is concerned, reminding you again, this is a poem which was originally written in Dogri language, and the poet of this poem is Vedpal Deep. Vedpal Deep, and then it was translated by Shivnath in English. Shivnath. So this is also important that Shivnath is the person who has translated this poem in English language. And today we'll do a reading of this poem. We will read this poem line by line, and we'll try to find out the meaning of this poem today. See, as far as this poem is concerned, this poem is in this poem the poet remembers an evening that is wet with rain, and he remembers the atmosphere of complete silence and solitude. And we find numerous images in this poem. Some images are from nature, and these images help in maintaining the solitude and silence. And in this poem the poet talks about loss of hope. Loss of hope. See, this poem talks about an evening, and that evening is metaphorical in this poem. It is symbolic in this poem because the poet's life, as far as the life of the poet is concerned, he also finds this evening in his life, that is he's going to die, he's going to bid goodbye to this world. He has lost all the talents, he has lost all the energy, he has lost all the sickles which he had once upon a time. So that is how this is not only the evening of the day, it is also the evening of the poet's life. Evening of the poet's life as well. An evening wet with rain. It is both the evening of a single day, of a day in which there is rain, an evening of a rainy day, and as well as the evening of poet's life at the same time. See, I shall read it now. An evening wet with rain, as I walk through the lane, the heart beckons the hands to hold them with love. The mind also knows subtle signals of the breeze. Should I stand on the ground or wrapped with the wind? See, the poet is talking about an evening that is wet with rain. See, these here we have this note of interrogation should be here, because this sentence starts with a model, so it is a question sentence. An evening wet with rain, as I walk through the lane. So here the poet talks about an evening, that evening which is very wet, which is wet with rain because it is raining at that time when it is the time of evening. And he talks about that evening, and he talks about that walking through the lane. So it was an evening that was a rainy evening, and he was walking through the lane means a street here. Lane means a street, small street type. Okay, so he was walking through the lane, and it was raining, and the time was evening. So he talks about his own moment, he talks about the situation, and he talks about the time. The time is evening and the situation is rainy, and he's walking through a lane, he's walking in a street. The heart beckons the hands to hold them with love. The mind also knows subtle signals of the breeze, and he's in a way he's very curious, and he finds it very beautiful. He finds this rain very beautiful, and he the heart calls the hands. The heart beckons the hands to hold these drops of rain, to hold these drops of rain with love, and the mind also knows subtle signals of breeze, and his mind also receives some subtle means not loud, which are silent, we can say small, and these subtle signals of the breeze. And breeze, you understand what breeze is. And his heart, he has this feelings for this rain. His heart beckons the hands to hold these drops with love, and his mind also observes the signals, notices the subtle signals of the breeze. So both his heart and his mind is involved in the rain, in the situation. They are both involved. The mind, he knows the subtle signals of that knows sorry the mind knows the subtle signals of the breeze, and the heart also beckons the hands to hold them with love. So this is how his heart behaves, how his mind behaves in this evening, that is a rainy evening. And now he asks a question. The speaker of this poem asks a question, and he says, should I stand on the ground or wrapped with the wind? It is an he's in a state of happiness. He's in a state of happiness, and he's questioning that whether he should stand here in the rainy evening, whether he should stand here and uh, whether he should stand here, or whether he should move with the air, whether he should float through the air. So he has this confusion in his mind. He asks a question that whether he should stand on the ground, or whether he should float through the air. So this is how he asks the question to himself. Being wet with rain as I walk through the lane, the heart beckons the hands to hold them with love. The mind also knows subtle signals of the breeze. Should I stand on the ground or wrapped with the wind? So it is a time of evening. The poet is walking through the lane which is wet with rain, and it is a delightful time, and the heart of the poet beckons the hands to hold them with love, and his mind also knows that the gentle breezes are signaling him to go and be nearer to his companion and to hold his hands with love. So this rain, this time, this situation, that is his companion, and his mind also gets the signals, and his mind is signaling him to go and be nearer to his companion and hold his hands with love. And then the poet appears in confusion when he asks this question to himself, when his mind asks the question to him that whether he should stand on the ground or allow himself to move with the air. So this is the question which the poet is asking to himself, which the poet's mind is asking him. So there we see that there is a confusion in the poet's mind. And then windows, doors, awnings of the house are wet. Cool breezes stir the leaves of the yonder banyan tree. The collar of my coat is also wet with drops of rain. All around a rain is silence. Now the poet talks about windows, he talks about doors, he talks about sheets of canvas. Sheets of canvas means awnings. This word, sheets of canvas, which can be used as a frame, which can be used as frame. So that is what awnings are. And he talks about windows, he talks about doors, he talks about sheets of canvas, and he tells that all these things are wet with rain. All these things are wet with rain. So in the first five lines, the poet's attention was himself when he told us that he would love to go in the rain, and he thinks whether he should stand on the ground or whether he should float through the air. And he talks about how his heart beckons the hands, and he talks about his mind as well. He talks about the evening which is wet with rain, and he talks about himself that he was walking through the lane. So now he talks about the doors, he talks about the windows, he talks about the canvas sheets, and he talks about the leaves of the yonder banyan tree. Leaves of the yonder banyan tree. Yonder, which is yonder means at a distance. So the banyan tree is placed at a distance, and he talks about the leaves of this banyan tree, and he tells that these leaves move because of the cool breeze created by the rain. And he also talks about his collar of the coat, his coat collar. Yes, the collar of my coat is also wet with drops of rain. And he also talks about the collar. The collar is also wet. The collar is also wet. It indicates that it is raining very heavily. It is raining very heavily. That is why his collar is even wet with rain. And he tells us all around rain is silence. All around rule is silence. Silence is everywhere. In this rain, only the moment of these banyan leaves, that is audible to the poet. Otherwise nothing is audible to the poet, because everywhere is silence. The rain has silenced everything. That is why he says that all around rules silence. So silence rules everything. Silence rules everywhere. So that is why the poet is talking so. My feet are cold with water seeping through my shoes. My eyes are heavy with sleep. Or is it fever? The ground is very slippery. There is no place to stand. The mind is exhausted, looks for some spot to rest. The poet talks about his feet, he talks about his shoes, he talks about the his eyes, and he talks about the ground as well. And he also talks about his mind in these lines. See, here the poet's feet have gone cold. The poet's feet have gone cold because water is percolating through his shoes. Water is oozing out through his shoes. So we find that the poet's shoes are filled with water. That is because of rain, and because of that water, his feet are cold. His feet are cold, and the poet's eyes are heavy with sleep, or this is the feeling that is he thinks that it is either sleep, my eyes are heavy with sleep, or is it fever, is it fever. So he simply says, he states that his eyes are heavy with sleep, or maybe it is fever, maybe it is fever. And he questions here, is it fever? So the poet questions, the poet's eyes are heavy with sleep, or this is the feeling that is that it is fever, because he's tired, his eyes and body specifically feel feverish. That is how he says that either it is sleep or it is favor. He feels that the ground under his feet is slippery, and the ground is slippery. There is no place to stand, and he's in such a state that he feels heavy. His eyes feel heavy with sleep, or he feels that he has fever, and he finds the ground very very slippery, and he finds that there is no place to stand. There is no place to stand. He could not find any place to stand, and then he says the mind is exhausted, looks for some spot to rest, and he is worn out, he is exhausted, and his mind is completely tired. His mind is completely tired, so he is looking for some place to take rest. So all these things the poet experiences, the poet thinks that he tells us that his feet are cold because the water is oozing out of his shoes, and his eyes are heavy with sleep or fever, and the ground is slippery. There is no place to stand on, and his mind is exhausted. He is looking for some spot to rest, and that is what the poet tells us in these lines. And then he tells us loss of hope has darkened the evening of my life too. This is very important. And clouds gathering in mind shed tears as they pass. And the evening of trouble, my companion, is also depressed, and takes me along, holding me by the arm. The poet talks about loss of hope, and that loss of hope has darkened the evening of his life too. At the beginning of this lecture, I told you that this is not just an evening wet with rain. This is the evening of poet's life. This is the evening which makes the poet dull, which makes the poet very anxious, which makes the poet hopeless, because these times, once upon a time, the evening like this, once upon a time, whatever happened in his life, that would give him some energy, that would give him some hope, but everything seems hopeless, everything seems desolated, and he's in anxiety, he's in hopelessness. That is how this evening is not only the evening of a day, it is the evening of the poet's life as well. He is not young, he is not energetic, he is not productive, he cannot produce a poetry, he cannot produce good thoughts. He's in a state of despair, he is in a state of anxiety, and that is how this loss of hope has brought the evening in the life of poet as well, and this loss of hope has darkened the life of poet as well. So that is what we are reading. Loss of hope has darkened the evening of my life too, and clouds gathering in the mind shed tears as they pass. This is metaphor used here, and the clouds gathering in the mind shed tears as they pass. The evening of trouble is my companion is also depressed, and he calls this evening of troubles, he calls this his companion, he calls this evening by the name of companion, and that takes me along, holding me by the arm. See, the loss of hope has darkened the evening of poet's life, and he's in a state of despair and anxiety, and clouds of despair, clouds of anxiety, clouds of hopelessness have gathered, and in his mind as they pass through the dark lands of his mind, and that is how tears start coming out of his eyes. That is how tears coming off his eyes. And these clouds of despair, anxiety, hopelessness that have gathered in his mind, and as they pass through the dark lands of his mind, the dark corners of his mind, tears start falling, tears start coming out of his eyes, and he falls into a complete state of depression, because he doesn't find anything comforting in the evening of travelers. So he doesn't find anything productive, he doesn't find anything comforting, in this evening of travelers. So this is the evening of his life, and this is the evening of a day as well. And he calls his companion, that is the evening of travelers, the evening of trouble, sorry, the evening of trouble. He calls his companion to hold his arm and take him along, because he knows nothing. And he now tells this companion, he now tells the companion to take him by the arm, and to take him, show him something, and to hold his arm and to take him with him. And that is what he tells his companion, that is the evening of travelers. And now he talks about his childhood. In childhood, I stood alone in my courtyard, and waves of the air brought the sound of cymbals. We regret that the days gone by don't return. How to call back times past and gone? And now the poet talks about his childhood memories. The poet recollects his childhood days, and when he would stand alone in the courtyard and listen to the sound produced by cymbals. Cymbals is a musical instrument, simply musical instrument, yes, cymbals. And the in his when he recollects his childhood days, and he recollects the memories when he would stand alone in the courtyard and listen to the sound produced by cymbals, and the waves of air would bring the sweet tunes of cymbals to his ears. The poet regrets that the days gone by do not return. He regrets the past cannot be brought back. And now all around rain is silence. There is nothing but silence, silence, and silence. And even if there is some sound, audible sound, that is the mowing of those banyan leaves, those leaves of banyan tree, and that is not a soothing sound. That is not a sweet sound. But in childhood, what he would do, he would stand alone in the courtyard and he would listen to the sound produced by cymbals, and that sound was very sweet. That sound was very sweet, and that is why the poet regrets that the days gone by do not return. He regrets that past cannot be brought back at any cost. So he's regretting in these lines. He's regretting about his childhood. He's regretting about the past memories. The evening prepares to go to sleep in the lap of night, slowly, softly, just as the sky's feet touch the ground. Shadows of trees rest in the dark tank as some passing cloud casts a shadow over hills. Here, the poet talks about the evening. He talks about the evening, and he tells the evening prepares to go to sleep in the lap of night. So, evening is when there is not a lot of light, neither that is too dark. But this evening is nearing to an end now, and it is going to go into the darkness. That is night. It is about to fall. The night is about to fall. The darkness is about to fall. So this darkness will bring an end to this evening. This darkness will bring an end to this evening. And the sky also appears touching the ground, that is earth. Ground here means earth. The sky appears touching the earth, owing to the darkness which is about to fall, because everything is going to be unseen now. Everything is going to absorb in this dark tank, in this darkness. That is the night. That is the night, because it is evening time, and the poet is able to see the ground. The poet is able to see these raindrops. The poet is able to see these banyan tree. But once the night is there, once this night overtakes this evening, everything is going to be dark and everything is going to be unseen, and the sky appears touching the ground owing to the darkness which is about to fall, and shadows of trees also continue to rest in the dark tanks, and the passing clouds are sending shadows over the hills. Everything around appears silent owing to the fall of darkness. So he talks about the evening which is preparing itself to go to sleep in the lap of night. In the lap of night, personification has been used here, and slowly, softly, just as the sky's feet touch the ground, shadows of trees rest in the dark tank. So as the as the this sky's feet starts touching the ground, shadows of trees rest in the dark train. So these shadows of the trees, they were visible, these shadows were visible because it was a little bit, it was evening, and there was a little bit light, there was a bit of light there present. But now, once it is darkness, once it is night, nothing can be seen, and these shadows of the trees, they also rest in this night, they also rest in the dark night, they also rest in the darkness. That is what he is saying, as some passing cloud casts a shadow over hill, and he talks about the passing cloud, they are sending these shadows over the hills. There is this activity in the houses lit with electric bulbs. Moonlight laughs holding the hem of the moon. Where is my destination? Where is the hurry? Light of the earthen lamp in a wayside modest inn awaits me. In these last lines of the poem, the poet talks about the houses which are lit with electric bulbs, sorry, which are lit with electric bulbs, sorry. It is a bit of tongue twister to me. The houses which are lit with these electric bulbs are lively and full of laughter, are lively and full of laughter because there is activity. He finds some activities in these houses that are lit with electric bulbs. All the activities are going on in these bright houses. So these houses are bright, they are not like this darkness, they are not like the night, they are bright, and there are some activities in the houses. But that activities, those activities, they are inside the houses, but outside we find the poet is wandering, he is wandering aimlessly and nothing, and knows nothing about his destination. Yes, there is this activity inside the houses, there is this light inside the houses, there is this light of electric bulbs inside the houses, some activity inside the houses, but we find our poet is wandering aimlessly and knows nothing about his destination, because he's asking questions, where is my destination, and he's asking questions, where is the hurry, and he tells us that moonlight holding the edge of the moon. Ham means edge. Ham means edge. Moonlight holding the edge of the moon is laughing at him. So moonlight is laughing at the poet. Moonlight is laughing at the poet, and the poet is in no hurry because he is unaware about his destination. See, two questions are there. Where is my destination? Where is the hurry? So a person is always in a hurry. A person is always in a hurry when he has a target, when he has a destination, when he has some spot to reach, but he has no destination. So there is ultimately there is no hurry. The poet is in no hurry because he is unaware about his destination. He is unaware of his destination. He doesn't know where his destination lies. He only knows that the light of an earthen lamp on the side of a road in the modest inn awaits him. He only remembers, he only knows one thing, that there is this earthen lamp, there is this earthen lamp, there is this earthen lamp that is on the side of a road in the modest inn, in the modest in, that is waiting for him, that awaits him. He only knows this thing. He doesn't know where his destination is. He doesn't know where this hurry is, where this yes, where is the hurry? He doesn't know where the hurry is. He doesn't know where the destination is. And he only knows that the light of an earthen lamp on the side of the road is waiting for him in the modest inn. That is what the poet knows. And this was the reading of the poem. And I hope you would have understood this reading, this poem. And in the coming lecture, we will discuss this poem. We will analyze this poem, and we'll try to find out some techniques out of the poem. We'll try to understand some techniques of the poem as well. So till then, have a nice day, and Allah Hafiz.